Welcome back to Kaizoku Dad channel, and today I am bringing you an off-meta deck, off-meta leader for sure. And, I just wanted to challenge myself and build a deck around one of the new leaders that came out in OP-04 that, honestly, not a lot of people are playing in, for good reason, I guess. It's definitely not the best leader, but I do think it has a really cool color combination of red and blue. I think those two colors are really strong, and together I think they can do some really cool stuff. And that's why I decided to make this off meta deck. So by no means am I saying this deck is any good. um, it's not bad, and I think this has the potential to win a locals. Definitely don't take this deck to a regionals or maybe a sword championship. No, this is one of those fun off meta decks, and if you're into those kind of like fun off meta decks, then I think this is a really good deck for you guys to try out. And this is running the Impel Down package, and that is really fun because um, I haven't used Impel Down cards in a long time, and so combined with Vivi's rush ability and drawing a card, I think this the Impel Down package is kind of a really cool combo. So sit back, enjoy, and I will explain to you how this deck works and how not to lose as hard. Stay tuned. First things first, we're going to start off with the deck list. And so as you can see, we're going to have the Impel Down package, which is right here. And we have 4 Ivankos, we have 4 Crocodiles, we have 4 Buggies, sorry, and 3 Monkey D. Luffy's, and 4 Bon Clay. So this is, I think, what I consider the core Impel Down package. These cards right here. And so building my deck around that, I added some support. We have I started off with Luffy since he's a Straw Hat. It only makes sense to kind of include like a Nami to be able to search him. So he's searchable with Buggy and Nami. And we added some more 2K counters with the Straw Hat type. So we have Brook and Sanji. So just to increase, the odds of being able to search something out with Nami. And then we have Marco, which is really important, especially against decks like Zoro or Law. Marco just helps out so much against those decks. We have the Don Flamingo 3-cost that lets you kind of arrange your turns, or by looking at the top 5 cards of your deck, you can put them in the bottom if those are really bad cards and you don't want to draw into them. So this is a really good card. Blocker as well. And then we have some new Vivi cards. So Happy Punch is also pretty good for Vivi. You can potentially block 2 attacks, since you can -2 something, a character or a leader, and then -1 again, a separate character or leader. And then we have Kick Course. Pretty good card, especially it's a 0 for 3k. And since this deck kind of does run a couple of no cost or no counter cards like Ivankov and Luffy and Don Flamingo, I think this is pretty good. And then we have Don Flamingo 7 cost to help you kind of just out-tempo your opponent. Same thing with Usopp or Sogeking. Then we have King, which is such a nice card. With a big body, draw a card. So honestly, the whole point of this deck is take advantage of Vivi's ability. And so for a lot of these cards, you notice that we don't have any 10-cost cards. 7 is probably the highest that we can go to, because in the late game, if we want to play, like, say for example, a Don Flamingo on, and we have 10 Don, you can play Don Flamingo, bounce something, give him rush, draw a card, attack for 7k, and have 1 Don open for like a Happy Punch, or search out Nami and get something, or Buggy. So that's kind of how the whole combo works. But these are the cards that I've placed into the deck. We have your core Impel Down. We have 2K counters. We have a Nami that kind of serves as a support role, searcher role, to be able to search out for your Luffy's and other Straw Hat type cards. Even these new VV cards, they're Alabasta cards, but they're also Straw Hat cards. So you can search these out with Nami too, which I think is really cool. And then we have a blocker, and just Soga King and Don Flamingo and the Marco is kind of like soft removals. So I'm going to go into how the turns work out, when you want to be playing each card, and yeah, let's get into that. Okay, so we're going to start with the mulligan here. And the cards that you want to see are Ivankov and another Impel Down card. Either that's Luffy or Crocodile, just another one of those that you can combo off with Ivankov. You also want to see Marco, especially like I mentioned, especially against like Zoro or Law. If I'm playing against a Zoro or a Law, I'll probably hard mulligan for like 1 or 2 Marco over like Ivankov and the Ivankov combo, just because like having multiple Marcos against Zoro and Law, they will help you close out the game, or at the very least help you get to the end game, where you can just like outpace Law with so much bodies and attacking face. So that's kind of the mulligan that you want here. Ivankov with a Luffy or a Crocodile, or and a Marco. Generally speaking, you do want a Marco, at least one Marco in hand in any matchup, but especially against Zoro and Law, you want a hard mulligan for Marco, and Imperial and Monkey D. Luffy. So that's kind of what you're looking for in the mulligan. If you have Ivankov and another Impel Down card, you're kind of set for turn 7. Or if you want to wait to turn 9, you can wait to turn 9. I'll kind of explain when you want to be playing these cards. But for now, just focus on having one of the Impel Down combos, a Marco. Having searchers in hand is also really nice, especially in the early game that we're going to get into right now. Okay, so this is how your early game is going to look. So you're going to play like Buggy. This deck, before I go on, I do want to mention this deck loves going first, because if you notice, we have a bunch of odd cards, right? Like 7, 5s, 1s, 3s, 7, 7, 7, 5. The only big guy that's like that has an even cost is Monkey D. Luffy with 6 cost. So going first helps out a lot for this deck, but going second is still fine, because you can just take advantage of Vivi's ability, which is you can just rest to Dawn and draw a card and give something rush. You don't need to give something rush to draw a card. If you don't have any characters on the field, you can simply rest to Dawn and draw a card. So that's kind of usually what I do. If I go second, I would play. I will draw a card. On my 2 Dawn turn, draw a card. Even if I have a Buggy or a Nami, I'll just draw a card. On my second turn with 4 Dawn, then I'll play my searchers like a Buggy. If I have Buggy and Nami, that's awesome. I'll play Buggy, I'll play Nami, get something, and then with my last 2 Dawn, I'll just draw another card. So I just gained 3 cards in 1 turn. So that's kind of the strategy that I usually use if I go second with Vivi. Just use her ability, get cards into your hand, build up counters, get the cards, try and search out the cards that you're looking for. If you're going first, it's similar, but not as much card draw. On your first Dawn turn, obviously you're going to put down a Nami or a Buggy. I think Buggy takes priority because you want to get your Impel Down combos out faster, or not faster, as soon as possible. So you want your Ivankov, you want your Crocodiles, and you want your Luffy's. Buggy searches them all. Nami just searches out the Luffy. So let's say you already have an Ivankov, and you're missing a Luffy, then just use Nami. I mean, you can use Buggy too, but that's the cool thing. You can use both. Usually I like to save Nami for like if I need like 2K counters, or if I want to search out one of my events, my counter events, I'll use Nami. But Buggy's probably the best searcher for you. You also want to play Don Flamingo on your turn 3, on your 3 Dawn turn, to develop a body blocker and see what's coming up in the next 5 draws. Because sometimes, honestly, you're gonna look up, pick up the 5 cards, and you're just gonna see a bunch of 2K counters coming up, and you don't want that. So you just put that in the bottom, and then just get better draws. So Don Flamingos, it's really good blocker, and you kind of filter out the draws that you want versus the draws that you don't need, and that's pretty early on. Early game, you're just setting up to your late game combos by searching out, and preparing your next draws. So that's pretty much the early game. Mid game, this deck kind of starts going off on 5 Dawn turn. So Marco, best card, early on to play. You'll get rid of a little guy or a blocker, and with a 6K attack, you can, attack for free into your opponent's leader, and, force a 2K counter from them, or force them to take it. So a really good body. A lot of people, when you drop Marco, they are hesitant to kind of put in the resources to KO him because of his effect, where you can just discard an event to bring him back. This deck doesn't run, obviously, a lot of events. It only runs 4. But nevertheless, your opponent doesn't know that, and they don't know if they should fully commit into KOing something that could so easily come back. But even if they do, I think it's fine. Marco's one of those bodies where you're willing to sacrifice, or to absorb a hit or resources, so that you can save your counters and your resources for your bigger guys. But on turn 5, I like to play Marco. If I have, let's say, Crocodile in hand, and I have a Monkey D. Luffy and an Ivankov, I also wouldn't mind playing a Crocodile on turn 5, just to develop a strong body, because on my turn 7, I can still have the Ivankov combo, even if I play down the Crocodile. So that's also something to consider. You can play Marco, you can play Crocodile. If I only have Ivankov and Crocodile with no Luffy, I might hold on just to be able to play both on turn 7. But it depends on the state of the field, because if you are being pressured, or if you know that you need to be putting more pressure, then you can just play Crocodile. I guess it's fine. You have to read the state of the board, but generally speaking, the turn 7 being able to put out 2 7K bodies is just really strong. And if you have a Marco in hand, it's just better to play Marco on 5 and then do the 7 combo. But that's not the only 7 combo that you have. If we go back to the mid game, we have Don Flamingo and Sogeking. So this, in terms of removal, this deck doesn't have so much. The removal it has is just being able to attack with big bodies into the opponent's characters. But Don Flamingo and Sogeking are soft removal, especially again, like if you're playing against Whitebeard or Katakuri, where usually on their 4 Dawn turn, or on their 6 Dawn turn, or 5 Dawn turn, all they're doing is just playing one big body and attacking with their leader. If that's the case, these guys are just so good. Let's say against Katakuri on their 6 Dawn turn, they put down the Parasparrow with 8K attack. You just don't Flamingo that, or Sogeking that, and they pretty much kind of wasted their whole turn while you're developing a board, and that kind of sets them back 1 turn, and that's your 7 Dawn turn. And when you're at 9, that's when you can fully start using your ability. Um, let's just say they put back Pearl Sparrow onto the board again. Well, you can just Dome Flamingo that a second time, but this time you can give the second Dome Flamingo rush, and you draw a card, and you're attacking now with both Dome Flamingos for 7k to the opponent's leader. So that's kind of how you out tempo your opponent with Flamingo and Soga King. Soga King has the advantage of having a counter, and also kind of drawing two cards and throwing, throwing cards that you don't have that are dead in your hand, and just recycling them. So, like, say for example, you have the Ivankov, but you don't have any of the other Impel Down cards to combo off with him. Well, just Soga King, draw. If you don't draw into them, then you can just discard Ivankov. It's fine, and keep counters in your hand to protect your Flamingo, your and your Soga King. So another cool thing though to keep in mind is that with Ivankov, you don't have to combo with just Crocodile or Luffy. You can also kind of combo out with Mr. 2, which he is a 5k attacker, potentially, right? And he does have an ability where if there's like a 2 or lower cost character, you can put it in the bottom of the deck by putting 1 Dawn on him. So if there's like a blocker, like a small blocker, a 1 or 2 cost, you can get through him with Bon Clay. So he's not a lot of people expect him to come out with Ivankov, but he is an option, and you don't need Ivankov. You can just put him out, play him, give him Rush with Vivi, and use his ability too. So that's kind of like a really cool 2k counter with multiple uses. Same thing with Sanji and Brook, right? You can play Sanji just for 2 Dawn, give him Rush, and then his own ability, you take a life and use 2 Rested Dawn, and he'll attack for 7. All for just, 4 Dawn, which is pretty good. Brook can attack for 5k and give him Rush as well. So that's kind of the reason, also another reason why I chose these 2k counters, because if for whatever reason you need another attack in, and these are just low cost potential rushers thanks to Vivi, and their own effects help them attack. You don't need to invest active Dawn. They have an ability where you can use the Rested Dawn that you use to play them on themselves to attack. So that's really useful. But that's the mid game for you. Marco or Crocodile, out tempo your opponents with Don Flamingo and Soga King, and cycle out with Soga King. So that's kind of how you want to be using these cards. Okay, so this is going to be your late game. It doesn't have to be this way. Just remember, like, since Ivankov is 7 cost, you can play him in the mid game, and put a bunch of strong bodies on the board, and just be able to attack into them next turn. The only advantage really of waiting for the late game to play these cards, is that when you play Ivankov, if you're going first, then you'll be at 9 Dawn. You'll be able to attack with one of them, with either Ivankov or the second Impel Down card that you choose to play with, for 9 Dawns. So play Ivankov 7, have 2 left, use Vivi's ability, give something Rush, and attack for 7k, draw a card. That's the only advantage for waiting until 9 Dawn or 10 Dawn to do the Ivankov combo. So if you think by turn in the mid game that having more bodies on the board with Ivankov is more beneficial, then play him in the mid game. Perfect, no problem. But if you're still fighting for board, it's better to play Don Flamingo in the mid game. But that's one of your strong combos. Another strong combo that I really love is King. Again, for 9 Dawn, you can play a big guy, 8k attack. You draw a card with King's ability, and then you draw an extra card using Vivi's ability, and then you're attacking something for 8k. King is just so good, especially against Whitebeard, because you're attacking into Whitebeard's leader for 8k. They have to have at least a 2k counter and a 1k counter just to counter out of King's attack, and you don't have to invest any Dawn for that. So that's really cool. And if you use him, and if you're playing him on your 10 Dawn turns, you have 1 Dawn left over. And for that 1 Dawn, you can have a Happy Punch in hand ready to counter out, you know, out of one of Whitebeard's or two of Whitebeard's attack. So don't be afraid with Vivi to use Luffy's effects, which is to like discard 2 cards and put something on the field into the hand of the owner's hand. That's a good way to like get through blockers, attack for double hit. You know, that's really strong, because remember, even if you're discarding 2 cards, we have cards like King, and you have your own leader's ability where you're just gonna draw anyways. So it's just choosing the right cards to discard. So, but it's really cool. Luffy is also another way to control the board, because, you know, if they have like 4K attack, bunch of 4K 4-cost characters with like, you know, 5K attack or 6K attack, just put them into the opponent's hand with Luffy. The double effect, the double attack, that matters less, because you're prioritizing board and momentum and tempo by using his ability. So it's kind of like, let's just say, you know, you're playing against Yellow Katakuri. No, let's say Whitebeard, right? And on their they have Atmos, or I don't know what the or a Frankie, you know, just like a 4K vanilla that has 6K attack. You can just put it back into his hand with Luffy and attack for 7K, and it's going to be double attack. So obviously they're going to counter out of it because they just need a 2K to counter out of Luffy, but at that point you're getting rid of something on the board and you're getting rid of something in their hand, which is perfectly fine. So Luffy is a really cool way to like control the board as well, and very flexible. Doesn't have a counter, so if you're behind, you can probably play Soga King over him and just discard him if you don't have the Van Clef. But yeah, Luffy's just very flexible. King is just really good in replenishing your hand and attacking for 8K. So really cool. And yeah, I mean, that's kind of how this deck works and the cards that go along with it. Outtempo your opponent with Flamingo and Soga King, potentially Luffy as well. Luffy, if you're behind also in life, let's just say like you're at 2 or 3 lives and your opponent's still at 5, Luffy's just another good way to like bring you back from that. You know, just invest 2 Dawn into him and he's attacking for 9K double attack. You know, kind of hard. You're either gonna like deplete your opponent's hand, or they're gonna take 2 lives and, you know, bring you kind of closer into the game. So really great card, and that's the Impel Down package. This deck is just running a bunch of big guys attacking for 7K, 7K, 8K with King. Just you kind of have to always balance out between going face or clearing something on the board. So, and yeah, that's pretty much it. Honestly, like, that's the deck. It's pretty straightforward. There is a lot of decision making in the terms of like what to bounce with Luffy or with Don Flamingo, what to discard with Soga King. So it's not like a brain dead deck, but it is a challenging deck. And the fact that you're just using one of the leaders that's obviously not top tier, but has really cool drawing mechanisms and attacking mechanisms. So it's off meta, yes, but it's challenging for players. You know, if you want to challenge yourself, play this deck. That's what I'm trying to say in a nutshell. So I'm going to show you some gameplay, and yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Stay tuned for the next one. Okay, so we're going to play against Crocodile. We have our combo here. They're going first, so we're going to keep. Since they're going first, we're just going to fill up our hand and just draw. There are no targets. Probably play Buggy, or we'll just maybe counter out. We'll counter out here. I'll just drop back again. Right now we're just focusing on drawing. And then we're just gonna get here. We'll probably get our Luffy. We might play him next turn just to have a body on board. It just depends if we get a 1-drop or not. If we get a 1-drop, then we'll play Crocodile. Alright, we got 8 cards. They got 7. We countered out of 1, so we would have had 9, but it's okay. I think we're doing good here. Got a nice hand. Okay, so they're going for 6 again. I think they have... I don't mind taking this one. Okay. We're gonna drop here our Luffy and see what he does. We're not gonna use the effect. I can't tell if he has a good hand or a bad hand. Him dropping the Mihawk might show that he has a bad hand. But we'll see. Okay, so he's gonna... Okay. Okay, yeah, I figured he had this. Let me counter out of one of them because we have 3 crocodiles. Okay. I think we're just gonna put down more bodies here. Soul King by himself isn't bad. We can just bounce him, but there's no point, I feel. We're just gonna do that. Can't bounce both. And then next turn we can start rushing. Okay. He just has a bunch of these cards. Yeah. We'll do one more. Then we'll do 2. Then next turn we're just gonna play Ivankov again. We might be able to double hit here. If we're gonna play Ivankov and Crocodile, yeah, we'll see. We're gonna play this first. I'm gonna give Crocodile a rush. I think we're gonna discard an Ivankov and I think a Soga King. Or a Dofi, but we're gonna replenish our hand with King anyways, so I think it's safe to double attack. That way she doesn't get her effect. So we're gonna discard him, put her back into the hand. Okay, that's good. I think we're gonna go here against him. Make him discard more of his hand just to keep his board. Okay, there we go. So that's the blocker. So we just denied him an event. So, and he's kind of running out of cards now. And he can't. The only one he can bounce back is just him. Oh, never mind. He has Kaido too, but he can only bounce 1 card. 2 cards with Buggy, but Buggy's fine. You can use him as a counter. I don't know why you attacked into him. Did he think he was 6k? Okay. Well, he brought back our crocodile, but we can just do it all again with event call. So, oh, and he left him. Okay. We're definitely gonna kill him because we don't want him drawing too much. Okay. Let me go here. And we're gonna discard again. Actually, no, we don't need to double attack. We can take this a little bit slow. We can just pick off his board little by little. And we have this, and we have this. So whatever he puts down should be fine. You can kill one thing, okay. But that's fine. We can't really save it. But it's not a problem. Next turn we're playing king. 7, defend for 1. Okay. We'll attack first. Okay. Not bad. Attack again. Okay. So he's still using up his hand. We have hand advantage, board advantage. We'll leave one up for happiness punch. Okay. We can do, and then just do a 2k. Okay. We have more with that, where that came from. 6, 7, 8. Okay. Let's see, with this one, we're gonna have to discard our whole hand. Almost our whole hand. 11. Maybe so. Now we just need to kill this guy. So if we do Luffy here, okay. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. I'm gonna play this. Okay, we're gonna get. I'm good at Brook. These were good. These would have been good, but it's fine. And then we're gonna play a blocker here. We need the Luffy. I'm gonna draw into the Luffy. Then we're gonna Nami. We're gonna search out, and then we're gonna. Okay. Send tomorrow. Okay. So he's having less and less to work with. Yeah, this is fine. Okay. I'm gonna attack. We'll see if he blocks. We'll probably just... Okay. Then we're just gonna bounce this, I think. And then we're gonna double attack. Do we want to double attack? Next turn we'll have more cards. We have advantage right now. We don't need to, I think. We can just take it a little slow. And we're gonna get this and get our... Is Sanji better or is Happiness Punch better? We have one done up, so this is good. We don't need to give him so many cards. The only thing he can bounce from his hand is just like the Namis, which is good for us. Maybe next turn, depends what he does, I can double attack. Okay. So 9. And do that. There you go. Might be game. We're gonna do this because I do want to draw. I do want to have the Luffy there. And double attack. I'm gonna use this. And I'm not gonna put him. I'm gonna put the Nami. Put the Nami back into my hand. Okay. And do 8 here. And we're just gonna do 9 here. Okay. That's fine. So he got the 2Ks from his life. He just used them up right now. He can't really bounce anything except for the Nami. He can just put Dawn and attack, but I have 2 guys. And I have a 1K counter. Okay, we can take that one. So we'll have another Luffy. Yeah, it's all about knowing when to double attack, I think. You don't have to do it right off the bat. Okay, so he knows I have 1K counter. He can put out the blocker at most, but yeah, that's it. GG's. Okay, so we're gonna go up against Rebecca. We will go first. It's actually... I don't mind this too much, honestly. We'll see how that goes. I'm gonna search something out with Nami. And then probably just keep drawing. We'll see. Okay. We got our Luffy's here. That's good. Rebecca's pretty slow to set up, so I think it's fine to keep some of our high cost stuff. Okay, Drew Blocker. Okay. I could put it all in attack, but I want to keep drawing. Okay, next turn we can put Marco down. The scary thing about Vivi is that, like, they can go for game, like, out of nowhere. So... we'll put this down. Because they can easily clear it. Now with our loan boost. Next turn we'll put him back into the hand. It's gonna attack active character. Okay. Oh, he needed to get rid of it. Gotcha. Yeah, we knew that was gonna happen, but I'd rather that happen to Marco than somebody else. Okay. Huh. Should we go into it? No, I'm sure he has more than 2Ks. More 2Ks in hand. But should I make him use it though? Because we can go Crocodile, give him Rush and attack, make him drop 2 cards. But then we might get too far behind, so... we'll just put him back to the hand. And we'll just keep doing that. And attack at the same time. Next turn is 9. We can play Luffy, give him Rush for 8. Attack, put him back into the hand. Okay. You can try and kill that too. I'm trying to think, because we don't want to lose tempo. I'll do this. Okay. Okay. That's one way. Okay, so 3 cards. He doesn't have any 2K counters, it doesn't look like. And we got rid of 1 Orlumbus. Okay. Rebecca, user Rebecca. We got another Kairos, okay. Numbers, gotcha. 4, and then he's gonna kill it. Oh, he's not. Okay, he can't. Alright, that's fine. think we'll go off here. And I think we're gonna do Luffy. Double attack. We're gonna bring... Doesn't look like he has 2Ks. So, trash 2 cards. Get rid of our counters, it's okay. Now, what are we gonna bring? Whatever, that's okay. Okay. Took 2 damage. Okay. Okay. So we have board. I don't mind losing Luffy. We can just replace it and draw some more. Okay. Red rock, got it. Effect. Got another Olympus. Yeah, okay, that's fine. We will take that. Okay. So then, do we keep this for Luffy? Probably, because we don't have any other way to answer Luffy. We already used 2 Doflamingos, so... we'll attack first. Okay, we'll do that. And then we are going... Okay. So we got rid of 3 cards. We're gonna play a blocker here. Because we need a... Okay, this is actually pretty good. I'm gonna put this at the end. I'm gonna get him. I think this is the correct way. Alright. So we have pressure. We got Coliseum, finally. Which means he'll probably play Luffy now. Okay. That's fine. Six, 7. Is he gonna try and clear? He is. Get rid of 1 Marco. Okay. can take one. Alright, we're gonna attack. We'll attack again. Okay. Well, it's just better to just do him, rush, and go all in for 9. I don't think they can stop that. 10. Alright, GG. Alright, cool. I guess some final thoughts on the deck. It's not an easy deck. It's an off meta deck for a reason. I think other decks are more consistent, probably more refined, and with Rebecca, even with the searchers, you do whiff a lot. I think in this game, did we whiff with Nami? Maybe. I think we whiffed one of the Namis, but yeah. This leader is off meta for a reason, but when the combo works, it works great and it's fun. And like you can see, we have a bunch of like strong bodies just attacking, just to overwhelm, right, your opponent. So, and Don Flamingo was pretty cool because, you know, we kept making him spend 4 Dawn to play Olympus instead of developing a board. So that helped out a lot. And the Luffy as well with the double attack going in, that was great too. So off meta deck, but could potentially win some games. If you're like very competitive and hate losing, do not play this deck. If you enjoy challenging yourself and don't mind losing and having fun, then play this deck. All right. So anyways, that's it for now. Thank you all for watching.